In the first part of the demo, we are showing our integration with SRX firewalls by showing a threat posed by an external source to an internal device and being able to block it using the SRX firewall using the WootCloud integration. In the second part of the demo, we will show the integration with ATP Cloud. In this case, we're going to show the use cases to enrich firewall alerts to ATP with WootCloud Hypercontext. We're going to consume ATP threat intelligence inside of WootCloud for threats and risk assessment. And finally, we're going to enforce blocks from ATP through WootCloud and Mist integrations to remove the requirement of Cisco ICE, Aruba ClearPass, or any other NAC solution. When you first log into the WootCloud UI, you land at the executive dashboard that provides a valuable, high-level overview of the environment. We'll show you how to create a connection to the SRX firewalls in the environment. Each SRX firewall will have its own unique entry within the WootCloud interface. You'll need to provide the IP address and login credentials for each firewall to enable WootCloud to interact with the firewalls via the APIs. An important note to make here is that WootCloud is a multi-site oriented product. For ease of site management, it will be important to specify the site where each of the firewalls is located. Once the SRX firewall entry is configured inside of the WootCloud environment, we will need to perform a one-time policy configuration on the Juniper SRX firewall. Log into the SRX firewall and go to the Security Policies underneath the Security Services section and select Rules. In this example, we created a rule under the Trust to Untrust section. Basically, this will impact traffic going from a trusted internal network to an external untrusted network such as the internet. Notice the global address name blocked IPs used in the rule. This is a list that is updated dynamically by WootCloud. Let's take a look at how this is configured within the SRX environment. Under Security Policies, select Objects and then Global Addresses. Once the global address name is created, we are done with the configuration of the SRX firewall to work with WootCloud. Now, let's take a look at this in action. We'll investigate a device inside of WootCloud, in this case, a device communicating with a potentially dangerous external IP address. Since we know the IP address of the internal machine, let's take a look at what is happening. Notice that the remediation process is fully controlled inside of the WootCloud environment. We can block the source IP address, or we can block the destination IP address. In this example, we are simply pinging the external address. Notice that the pings are functioning without any issue. We'll go back to the WootCloud interface and enable a block on this particular IP address. Normally, you will not need to do anything further, but we want to show you the capability of our integration with SRX. So we will go back to the SRX configuration screen and show you that the blocked IP's global address was dynamically updated by WootCloud, and notice that the traffic has been blocked. Suppose that the IP address was mistakenly blocked and we need traffic to resume to that IP address. This is not an issue at all. Simply go to the WootCloud interface and unblock the IP address. WootCloud will dynamically remove the IP address from the global address blocked IPs, and as you can see, traffic is once again flowing to the destination IP address. Again, there's nothing further that needs to be done in the SRX environment, but we want to show you the depth of the integration with the SRX firewall, so we will show you the result of the unblock. This time, we're going to use the command line interface. Notice that the blocked IP list no longer contains the address 23.63.75.58. Now that you have seen how WootCloud works with individual SRX firewalls, let's extend the demonstration to include the Juniper ATP Threat Intelligence Service. The configuration that we are using today, in this example architecture, you can see how the environment is assembled as well as how WootCloud communicates with ATP and how ATP communicates with the SRX firewalls. As you can see, This entire configuration is completely NAC-less, making it easier for customers to accomplish a higher level of capability without adding the complexity and expense of a traditional NAC solution. To get started, let's create an ATP entry in the WootCloud interface. Previously, with the SRX firewall, we defined the entry as a firewall and used a username and password pair to connect to the firewalls. For ATP, we are going to create a NAC entry, and we will use an ATP API token to establish a connection. From there, we will create a policy inside the WootCloud policy engine to perform an action, such as blocking a device from using certain protocols. In this case, we will block the IoT camera from using SSH. In this example, we are going to attempt an SSH connection to a camera. You will see that the connection is refused by the camera, which indicates that the SSH traffic was able to go through the firewall because the policy rule was not active inside of WootCloud. We'll go back into the WootCloud interface, and this time we will activate the policy rule to block SSH traffic to the IoT camera. Please note that while the update is made immediately to ATP, the rules are refreshed within ATP at approximately 1-minute intervals. We can easily check the list of blocked devices using the WootCloud interface. Now that you've seen how to block devices from using certain protocols or applications, let's deactivate the rule and then remove the camera from the blocked list. Again, recall that even though the WootCloud changes are immediate inside of ATP, ATP pushes its rules to SRX at approximately 1-minute intervals. Finally, we can validate that the removal of the devices from the WootCloud blocked devices list results in SSH traffic flowing to the device again. In summary, WootCloud adds significant next-generation remediation capabilities to the Juniper SRX and ATP environments in a NAC-less configuration. This is accomplished leveraging both netconf and native API integrations. In this portion of the demo, let's show the true power of the combined WootCloud, Juniper, and Mist solutions. The value to your customers is a robust security solution without the expense and complexity of traditional NAC solutions. Best of all, you have the ability to sell your customer a fully functional solution that can be implemented in significantly less time than your competitors. Today's demo will show how ATP recognizes that a host has malware on it, publishes the list of infected hosts, and how WootCloud is able to then, dynamically and without human intervention, block the device at the missed access point. WootCloud will pull ATP in 1-minute intervals to obtain the latest list. The host we are working with today is 192.168.30.105. For the purposes of this demo, we already built a policy inside of the WootCloud policy engine. This policy will take a look at all corporate-owned devices that are connected via Wi-Fi and that exist on the ATP infected hosts list. When we take a look at the actions that we're going to take for anything that matches the criteria that we defined, you'll see that we are going to block any traffic from that device. So we are treating this as a NAC function. In our configuration, we do not have a NAC solution. However, we do have a missed access point, and combined with WootCloud, we achieve a next-generation NAC capability. As you can see, the device has been automatically added to the blocked devices list, and it is blocked at ATP, Mist, and SRX. Now let's validate that the device is being blocked. Let's take a look in the Mist interface and go into the security page and look at the threats page. In the upper right-hand corner, click on Client Classification, and you will see the device MAC address associated with the device IP address of 192.168.30.105 is now on the banned clients list. You will also see that the 192.168.30.105 address has been removed from the Wi-Fi clients list. Once the malware is removed from the system, we will go to ATP to mark the issue as resolved. Then we will remove the block from within WootCloud. Now when we go to the Mist interface, we will see that the banned device list is empty, and we just need to wait for the Wi-Fi client to attempt to reconnect to the Mist AP. All of us at WootCloud hope you are as excited as we are to bring revolutionary next-generation security and networking technology to market with Juniper, Mist, and WootCloud.